everyone, Alexa Donne here, and today I am going over 5 ways to make time for writing. This is something I hear a lot, people who just bemoan that they don't have time for writing, which, relatable. I think we're all busier than ever, and it is definitely not easy to carve out time for writing, but if you're serious about writing, if you love writing, particularly if you want to make a career out of writing, you just have to get really good at finding the time. So these are 5 of my top tips for how to find time in your busy life to write. All 5 might not work for you, but if even one of them does, you can find that precious time to get words on the page. Tip number 1 is to curb your TV watching habit. Even if you watch 1 less hour of television a night, you can use that hour to write. This is something I've done. When I get home from work, I allow myself a good 2 to 3 hours of TV, but then the television goes off at 10 p.m. and I write from 10 p.m. to 11 or midnight. That's something that works for me, but the point is I'm sacrificing my TV time to make it happen. Speaking of sacrifices, my number 2 tip feeds into this as well, and that is a moratorium on beloved social events until you're done with your book. Specifically, this can be no movies until you're done, no meeting friends at the bar, whatever social thing you tend to do on weeknights or even on weekends. Keep it from yourself until you get the thing done that you need to get done. A novel, a short story, an essay, whatever it is. Essentially, you're being disciplined with yourself and then using these things that you generally like to do as rewards for when you are done. It does mean turning down social invitations that you otherwise would love to accept because you need to use that time to get writing done. It's saying no to the Saturday afternoon event because then you're going to use that time to write. Last year when I was on deadline, this meant I didn't get to see Black Panther until 8 weeks after everyone else had seen it. It was hard, and I'll tell you, with some franchises, you can't avoid spoilers, but it's the thing you have to do. You don't get to go out and enjoy the movie because you have writing to do. The 3rd tip is to become an early riser. Easier said than done. This is one I haven't done, but it's one that I know works for a lot of people, and that is getting up an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours earlier than you normally would. This generally is for people who have day jobs, so you get up at the ass crack of dawn and you get in about an hour of writing before you start your day. Many writers find this is a very effective way to fit writing into their busy life schedule because they start the day with it and then can focus the rest of their energies on their regular schedule. Of course, there's a little sleep deprivation that goes with this, but the whole point is that you definitely are going to end up making sacrifices for writing. The 4th tip is to use your commute. So this means if you're driving and you're stuck in traffic, you could use voice notes to, dictate to your phone or whatnot scenes in your book, or even just use it as brainstorming time. Whether you're in the car, you're on the train, or even if you're walking or biking, use that time to get in the brain space. You're visualizing scenes, and then when you get to a computer, you can sit down and type it up really, really fast. Or if you do public transportation, it can literally be using your phone. I have definitely been on the train and pulled out Google Docs and just swiped a scene into my phone. Write on the go when you can. Utilize the commute when you otherwise wouldn't be doing anything else, and use that time to work on your book. And last but not least, the 5th tip is to use your lunch hour to write. This, of course, is going to depend on your workplace, but if it's the kind of place where your lunch hour is strictly your time, use that time. Whether it's sitting at your desk and, like speed eating, you're eating a sandwich with one hand and you're kind of typing with the other, or if it is, you go somewhere to eat your lunch and you use your phone to get some scenes down, or you write longhand in a journal. Use your lunch hour. Even if you're only using half of it, that's 30 minutes of writing time that can really add up. I'll tell you, when I'm really vibing on my book, I do a combination of all of these things. I write on my lunch hour, I'm brainstorming during my commute so that as soon as I get home, like type, I'm limiting my TV time. I don't get up early. That's not gonna happen. But I definitely put a moratorium on fun social activities while I am actively drafting. So of course, most of these tips are really personal tips. This is how I find time for writing. These are 4 things that work for me and a 5th thing that I know works for a lot of people. Of course, this advice is really going to be tailored for people who have day jobs. The assumption is you don't have time for writing because you're really busy with something else. And, you know, being a homemaker is a day job. It's finding ways to fit this in around the responsibilities that you have that really fill up your day, but not just fill up your day in terms of raw time. It's about emotional bandwidth as well. Generally, all the things that we have to do and all the busyness, it is emotionally draining, and part of creativity is finding the emotional brain space. And so to that end, as practical as the tips are, I will leave you with the note that if you're feeling really maximum tapped, and even these tips, you just don't think you're going to be able to find the time, sometimes you can be maxed on your emotional bandwidth, and no matter what you do, it isn't easy or possible to find the time to write. And my advice there is, if you're able to make changes in your life to free up more space, take those steps you need to take, or just forgive yourself for the time being that you're not going to be able to find the time. But I hope that for many of you, you do see some shortcuts you can take within your existing life to carve out those pockets. And I'll remind you that it takes just a little bit of writing steadily over time to add up to a whole lot. You don't have to write thousands of words a day. Even taking a half hour of time or less and writing a couple hundred words, if you do it consistently, eventually are going to add up to a completed product. Let me know down below in the comments some of your favorite ways that you find time for writing, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll make more practical tip-based videos for writing. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. I post new videos 2 to 3 times a week. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, guys, happy writing.